Hi guys, hope you're all well. I have a lot of things to cover today, so I'll try not to ramble, but that's my style, so what can I say? So, the first thing I wanted to do was to just say that we're only a few weeks away from Eating Disorders Awareness Week. So, this year I decided to hold a nationwide protest to try and seek reforms in eating disorder services. So, last November we did one in Dublin. This year, so far, we have Dublin and Limerick planned, and I'm working on Cork and Kerry with others. So they're all the ideas that they're all going to take place on the 2nd of March at 11 o'clock in the morning. And that way, we'll hopefully get the most attention to try and get our voices heard, really, that these changes need to take place. So, some of the things that I would like to see changed are earlier interventions. So, things like a reduction in comms waiting lists, earlier supports for parents, such as meal coaching. That would have been something that would have been really helpful to me in the beginning. More clarity on treatment processes. So, like, I had no clue what happened once she got to hospital. There didn't seem to be any kind of care plan in place. So, a bit more transparency and structure for like what the treatment for eating disorders actually is. A connected service was one of the main problems that we encountered. So, like the physical aspect, like the physical effect of an eating disorder is treated in a children's hospital for stabilization, but then there's no mental health services offered while in hospital. And so then there's just that disconnect. Whereas I feel like the psychiatric help should be offered at the same time as medical help because this is a mental health condition. So it should be treated as a mental health condition. That's my opinion. Every step of the way, I think therapy or mental health support should be offered. One other issue is that NG feeding, if you're reliant or partially reliant on an NG tube for feeding, then there's only one facility in the country that can take you, but it's catchment based. So either the catchments need to be dropped or every facility needs to offer the same service because otherwise, not everybody has access to treatment. And let's see what else. I have so many. So, more beds. Obviously, there's not enough beds for people. And then, since the rise of eating disorders since COVID, there needs to be more beds available. More staff is needed, which is part of the problem why there aren't more beds because not enough staff are being transferred quick enough into eating disorder services. More ring fenced funding is needed to actually improve the services. Better transitional supports are needed both between the hospital and home. So, like immediate therapy or mental health support should be available. And also, stuff like meal coaching, when needed, would have been extremely helpful to help from the transition from hospital to home. And then a better transitional service between CAMS and AMS as well, the children's mental health services and adult mental health services. There needs to be a better transition there. What else? There's so many. Accountability as well. So my daughter had no care plan in place. Like we had no recourse when she wasn't receiving proper care. Like we didn't have anywhere to turn to say what to ask what the care plan was, to ask anything, like to make a complaint. There just didn't seem to be any help available. And I think there needs to be better supports there for parents to access if they are having problems with their child's care. And then accurate statistics is an issue as well. It's very difficult to get a whole picture of what's happening really in the area of eating disorders because, like, for the mortality statistics, people aren't always necessarily listed as having an eating disorder as a contributing factor. It might say things like, heart failure, that kind of thing. I'm sorry, I know that sounds morbid. And then also for like admissions into psychiatric facilities, maybe eating disorder isn't the main criteria they were admitted as. Maybe it was a mood disorder or that kind of thing. So the statistics just aren't really there. A lot of people have to go private, and private statistics aren't counted. So there's a lot of issues there. We don't really have a good picture of how many people need services, and how can you actually change or improve services if you don't have a good picture of what's happening? So that's kind of the reforms that I would like to see. I'd love it as well, actually, if you guys want to message me and let me know what reforms you would like as well. I'd say they're similar, but I mean, like I said, there's so many problems. I'm sure there's more that I've missed. Um, so the next thing I wanted to do was invite you to sign the change.org petition. All of these points are listed in the change.org petition. So I'm hoping to get as many signatures as possible so that the government can see like there is support behind this and that people do want and need the services to change. So please go to change.org, and if you type in eating disorders, I'm sure you'll see it come up. And then I'd also like you to invite you to join the protests that we're doing on the 2nd of March. So the ones for Dublin and Limerick are planned, Cork and Kerry are being planned at the moment. And then I'm hoping to get more locations involved. So if you would like to get involved in any of those pre-existing protests, please send me a message and we'll be happy to add you to the group. If you would like to do a protest in a different area, let me know and I can let you know what's involved in it. So basically, it's not difficult in fairness because we have the right to protest. So what we do is we just work together to select a location. So preferably, a high traffic area. And then we would just call the local Garda and let them know that we're planning to protest there so they're aware of it. And then we start advertising like crazy and promoting it and letting your politicians know about it. And then making banners and slogans and that kind of thing as well. So it's not too difficult, to be honest. There's not a lot involved, and you will be working together as a group to plan it as well. So if you'd like to get involved, please let me know. I would love to have you involved. So just send me a message. So besides that, I'm going on holiday now for a week, so I probably won't be too active this week. But in the meantime, I hope you guys stay well, and I hope to see you at one of the protests on the 2nd of March.